Yasaman is learning belly dance. Today we're going to go over some combinations for your dance. So I'm going to give you one, I'm going to break it down into basic movement. It can be considered intermediate, maybe some to you, maybe advanced. Really depends on how you would execute the move. So I'm going to show you the broken down part by part, and then we'll put it together, and then I will show you how you can use it. So first, make sure you have your posture, soften into your knees slightly, tuck your pelvis, lift the chest, roll, and relax the arms and shoulders, okay? I'm sure everyone remembers that limerick by now. So, first we're going to start with a basic hip circle, not a large hip circle, which is a Lebanese version. We're going to start with a small one. And our hip circles, we want them to be controlled, yet loose, as in our movements are free. We want to keep the knees slightly soft to give us that space we need to do our hip circles, okay? So this move is going to be a combination of a lower hip circle, of course isolation, then we're going to do a undulation, a reverse undulation you can call it, because it's going to be a roll up, and then we're going to do a chest isolation, which is a chest bump actually, and we'll see how it comes together. First I'll show you the move, then we'll break it down to pieces. So the move is done with a circle, roll up, chest bump, and the reason why I'm bumping on an angle to one side is because that's part of the movement in order to do two of them. So first we're going to start with the hip circle. So you want to take your hip rather to the left or right, so we'll start from the left. So circle to the left and over to the right and come all the way around. So you're going to have a good basic hip circle, okay? And remember to keep your knees soft here, okay, for your hip circle. And then we're going to do 2 times the speed and then full time of the hip circle, okay? So, key here to keep the isolation here is to keep the chest well lifted, as I'm sure you've heard a lot of times in dance and in belly dance, okay? So again, practice your hip circle. Make sure it's very comfortable for you. It's very important to be comfortable when you dance, okay? So that's what you want to focus on, just being relaxed and calm. And make sure you do warm up and you do any dance practice, okay? So that part you have. Very simple, right? So now, some people have a problem with undulations or reverse undulations, rolling up or rolling down. So, the key point to remember here is when you're rolling up, I always tell my students to tuck the pelvis back, because when you're using it, you may not always be in the tucked position. So in order to give yourself that oomph as to roll back up, and that emphasize, you want to tuck the pelvis and let it come up naturally, okay? And then what the knees do, they slightly roll in a manner. So I'll show you from the side. So when I tuck here, I'm going to roll up, okay? So that's all I'm doing. It's very simple. So you tuck and roll up. Meaning you're bend more, so you slightly come up into a more stand point, so straight leg almost, but you still have a slight bend in the knees, because slightly bend in the knees helps your posture, okay? So here you're bend a bit more, so when you tuck, you roll up, and your knees are still bent. You see that? So that's the second part of the combination. Now the third part is just a simple chest bump, as I'm sure some of you may remember about doing with the muscles in the back, where they push the chest forward, like so. Chest coming forward, pulling it in, and forward, okay? So remember to put your hand in front of you and to bump, trying to hit your hand. And you don't want to lift. It's not a chest lift, it's a chest bump. Your chest is already lifted because of your posture. So this is a chest lift, and this is a chest bump. Okay? Different. Now, that's the third part. Now when you put it all together, it becomes that combination. Very effective, nice looking movements, transition correctly. The way you transition is on the angles. So it's like figuring out your key position of when you would transition to the next movement, making it a combination. So transitions comes in effect here. Now you may have talked with your teacher or heard about transitions in dance before. It's figuring out that point of when you're going to transition to that next move, as I have said already. So I'm going to show you the transition point. Now when we're doing the roll up, the reverse undulation up, we're going to have a key point, a point of execution. So if I'm going to start my hip circle, let's say on the left, and I come around on the right, I'm going to roll up as I come on the right because I'm going to bump my chest on the left once I come all the way up from the reverse undulation. So again, circle, roll up, bump on an angle, as you see that. And that key transition even starts way back down the first movement to initiate the top, which is the third part of the combination. So again, circle, roll up, and bump. Circle, roll up, bump. Circle, roll up, and bump, okay? So it's bumping in the direction that you initially started the hip from down here, okay? And when you start on the right, you're going to come around to the left, roll up, and bump to the right. See how that works? 3 moves in one, making your combination. Now, we're going to do the move in its slowest form, very slowly and sensual. Then we're going to move up to 2 times the speed. Then we're going to do full time. So here we are, now beginning position. And we're going to start from the right, from the left, leaning to the right to give us our transitional mark. Roll up and bump. Then start this side, roll and roll up, bump, okay? So doing that, we're going to go into our 2 times. Okay, so full time. See, and you can use that in different parts of your performance. So give that combination a try. 3-hit combination, I call that one. Thanks for watching. This has been Yasaman, Learning Belly Dance, your combination.